All right, so hello everybody. This is Robert Newman, the founder of InboundREM, and I am once again, I think 8 months after my last recorded case study. I'm with my client, or InboundREM's client, Dean Short, who is a realtor in Cabo San Lucas, and he has been kind enough to agree to do a follow-up case study with me on how his website has performed. Now, before I'm going to get into it, just like I covered right before we started recording, but I am curious if you recall how long the site has been live.
We've been live since the 5th of December 2018, so approximately a year and a half. Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
So I'm going to jump in. So is any of your opinions about, so you left a lot of opinions about doing the site with us originally. Has anything changed over the last, I think it's probably been 9 months since our last recorded call, testimonial?
Probably the biggest single thing that we've noticed is and it looks like it started right around November, but it's the growth in organic hits on our website. So all the SEO work is starting to kick in. We went through a period while that was still happening where we were running pay-per-click at about $10 a day, which we dropped off during COVID, and we're going to leave it off. We're looking at the SEO right now. It's continuing its upward trend, and we think the pay-per-click supplement is not needed anymore.
Needed. And so at $10 a day, what you had it at when we first started the site, I feel like the PPC was higher than that, or it was 20.
It was $20 a day, and we shut it down during low season last summer, and then we started it back up in fall, and we cut the spend in half to $10 per day.
Okay.
And kept it going for a while, and the organic growth is overtaken it now, and we don't really see the need to do it. We're going to focus some of that spend in other areas, probably some specific property specific Facebook campaigns.
Okay. Now I'm not gonna. So all right, actually let me go ahead and read through the questions. So ladies and gentlemen, anybody that's watching this video, I sent some follow-up questions to Dean as part of this case study that he was willing to offer. And what I offered in exchange, because I like to be totally transparent, is I offered him some consultation in order for him to achieve even more or bigger growth with his website. And he agreed to that trade. And the questions that I asked him, here's what my questions were, which he generously agreed and gathered the data for. So how many leads total have you generated? And it's okay if I read your responses off, is it right? Okay. So it was 137 leads that were attributed to the website. That's not all the leads that they get. That's just what was directly attributed to the website, if I understood your answer correctly. Okay. What did your PPC budget start at, and where is it now? So what it started at, according to his written response, Dean's written response, was $20 per day, halted during the off season of 2019, that's July through September, resumed in October 2019 at $10 a day, halted mid-March 2020 because of COVID, which will be part of our tail end of our dialogue here, and will not resume anytime soon. Have you closed any deals from the leads? Yes, 5 deals have been inked that were attributable to the website for $1.53 million in sales. 1 deal failed to close. Closed 4 deals for $1.2 million. And here's my final question. Do you think you would have closed more deals sans COVID? And the answer was yes, we were on a roll. COVID has cost us $2 million in sales of our own listings, not related to website leads. And so, using this case study and the heat, like the momentum that had been gathered prior to COVID. So we started COVID about 120 days ago or so. It's five and a half months now. Using your previous history with the site, how many additional sales do you think you would have made if you had kept on the exact same pace that you were at before COVID?
Probably another, maybe one or two more. One of the things that's happening here, because this is a type of property market where it's more of a discretionary spend, people looking for a second home, or it's about people retiring here. A lot of the decision making that we've seen post-COVID has been focused on a very much life is too short philosophy.
Right.
So, I'd like to be able to say that we would have seen more, but in this market, we're seeing a bit of a resurgence post-COVID that's all driven by this life is too short mentality.
Okay. All right. So you're still getting business.
Sorry.
I'm sorry.
For a lot of people whose dream of buying a place in Cabo and wintering here, or whatever, if their dream was on the edge and they lost their job thanks to COVID, their dream died. But for a whole lot of other people, COVID galvanized them into action. Gotcha.
So thank you for all of that. The way that I extrapolate that is let's just assume that you would have gotten one or two more sales, assuming the COVID hadn't happened, just because the pace was already the same with the website, which currently, without any additional return, the way that I'm not going to mention numbers, but I'm doing the mental math, and it seems like so far you've realized a 5-to-1 return on your investment. Does that sound about right to you?
Yeah, I think we're probably there. Yeah.
And since we're not actively doing more SEO work on the site currently, all the additional revenue that you generate will literally be will basically just increase the return over time. Like if you continue at the same pace and you don't spend any additional money in SEO, then a year from now you're going to be more at like a 7 or 10-to-1 on your investment, or even more.
Yeah, at the pace we're going, and I don't know if you're gonna insert some of the stats that I sent you, but the growth in the organic search, had a very mild dip for COVID, but its trajectory is, you draw a straight line through it and see where we're going.
Yeah, I'm gonna just share my screen. And are you okay if I share the analytics view on your site? Is that okay?
Yeah, you can share that one PDF that's got the two charts in.
The two charts. Okay. Let's do this. Hold on a second here. Actually, I will do that right now. So go back to the screen. Okay, and I am going to trying to figure out. Oh, you know what? I don't need to do this. Never mind. I'm doing a screen capture on Screencast-O-Matic, which means it's grabbing my screen. So for those who are watching, this is the growth of the site. You can clearly see that we have grown 400 or 500% since our start. Just on the. And by the way, this chart was generated by you, right, Dean? I didn't generate this chart.
The upper chart came from the Google Search Console. The lower one is downloaded the analytics data and charted it. What's interesting about that, I on purpose put the organic search on the bottom in blue, so you can see the growth in that over time. Next up was the pay-per-click, the Google Ads, and you can see it as those two orange bubbles, and you can see where we were active at $20 per day in the beginning, and then the haul in the off season, and then where we came back, and then you can see the COVID dip, and we're not turning down.
And then my last and final, we had a pre-conversation here that Dean and I were kind of just putting our heads together and figuring out how this call would go. And during that conversation, which was unrecorded, Dean was making some comments about how he felt my advice had played out over time, because obviously Dean and his partner Sam had spent a lot of time with me talking about this decision before they made the decision. And then during those calls, I gave you some advice. I gave you advice about how to set up the site. I told you, I made some pretty strong statements about how people were using real estate websites you decided to trust my advice and my expertise and pull the trigger, letting me basically kind of design the site and outline it for you. So how has that played out? Do you mind repeating what we talked about?
No, not at all. I'll just pull some paper up here to look at the statistics that have come out of analytics. But basically, Robert's advice to us was to focus on creating content pages that were condo and community specific. I think the initial slate was about 30 of them in the
32. Yeah.
So we ended up doing our analysis and figuring out which ones we wanted to have in the first 30, and we've also taken from that and developed more ourselves using the pages that your team developed as templates for us to expand. We've gone back to some of them. We've adjusted some of the content. We very much are interested in having our website be the best website in Cabo from a content perspective. But the advice you gave to us was very sage and very sound. And although our market's different, we don't have Zillow and Redfin and all those others to try and fight for eyeballs on page one in Google. We have some well-established websites here, and your advice to us was to try and compete on those content pages. So I'm just gonna run off a list of content pages. So our number one hit page is Terrasol Condos, 791 clicks.
Mm-hmm.
Our number two page is Puerto Cabos Village Condos, 398 clicks. We have a sale that came out of one of those clicks in that complex, and then the list just goes on. It's one of those content pages after another. There's some other ones that we've added that are more market statistics related that are getting good traffic, but we've learned our lesson from this, that those pages are important to get eyeballs. Sometimes when people are looking in Cabo, they do have an idea of where they want to be. They've heard of Terrasol, they've heard of Ventanas, they've heard of these developments, so that's what they drop in the Google search.
Right.
We end up on page one for those. And all of that activity, I think, is contributing to our organic growth overall on Google. And it's just starting to get our homepage up onto page one and page two for the more basic searches, the condos for sale in Cabo San Lucas kind.
Lovely. So for those that are watching, I'm going to close this out, and thank you, Dean, so much for your time and taking the time to do this. But I'm going to say this. Dean and his partner are exceptionally active on the website. They're constantly looking to improve it. So his results are incredibly strong. They're going to get stronger. I would be shocked if he's not 100 timesing his investment by the time as everything is said and done. Now, that doesn't count his own personal time or his partner's time that as they make efforts to improve the site. But some of the things that I have premised that he agreed with when he signed up with me was, hey, it's better to own than to rent. And he agreed and made a big investment in owning his own destination site. He's then taking the time to customize it. And one of the many things he's done is he's added a custom banner on some of his properties. He's constantly looking for the best deals that he puts on a page called Price to Sell. And he understands the marketplace. So he handpicks listings that are in this area, puts them on that particular page, which in turn gets people who have done their own research, look at the page and go, you're right, these look competitively priced. You obviously know what you're talking about. That increases the time and attention that's on the site, which in turn increases the SEO for the whole site. So all of these things, all of these mechanical things are, I'm just being transparent. They're making Dean's site very, very successful. But if anybody else is watching this and understands that they're the type of realtor that would take the time and the energy to create good content on the site, then I am absolutely confident that InboundREM is an amazing partner for that particular mindset. Would you agree with that statement, Dean?
Absolutely, Robert. And I have to tell you that one of the things that we found is WordPress website that you produced for us is very easy for us to, augment and change. Like producing new content pages, when we decide that we're going to make one, Samantha will go in and do the research in an hour and a half later, we're done. Yeah, pages up, we've, found pictures for it. I've set up the IDX search for it. It's, as soon as we decide we want to, do that, and there's some days where we feel like doing some work in the office for a few hours, and other days where we won't. And, we have a list, and we chip away down that list when we feel like it. And, it's a very, very easy website for the two of us to work on.
Beautiful. All right, I'm going to stop the recording. Again, Dean, I really appreciate this. This is going to go live on the InboundREM channels. I'm going to keep all the recording. I don't do much editing on these because, frankly, I haven't learned how to taught myself how to be a brilliant video editor. And but I will. Anyway, thank you very much.
Flip the charts in so we can see those. That's about it.
Okay. All right.
Okay.
There we go. And